Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my second quarter of reading this year. Now I currently do quarterly TBRs, and I thought today we're gonna have a look at my spring TBR and what actually happened with those books. So whether I've read them, whether I've liked them, stuff like that. So let's first start out with a couple of numbers. And you can check out the wrap-up for the first quarter for more details, but basically I have some different TBR lists. I have my backlist TBR that I'm working on. I have a list of 5 series I want to read this year and a list of 5 authors I want to try out this year. And so that's the sources that kind of made up my TBR lists. So basically in April, which was the first month of the second quarter, I had 7 books on my TBR from these resources, and of those 7 I actually managed to finish 5 in April, and I had started 6, so there was only 1 I didn't read. At the same time I had 3 library books out in April, and of those I managed to read 1. In May, I actually had 6 books on my TBR list from the different sources, and of those 6 books I managed to start and finish 4, so that was also really good. There were only 2 books I did not get to, which was great. And I had, again, 3 books checked out from the library in May, and I actually did not read any of those. So that's why the TBR reduction worked a little bit better. And then finally in June, we kind of turned things around because in June I had 5 books on my TBR list that I wanted to read. And of those 5, I started and finished 2 books, which is not so great. So that means I had 3 books I didn't get to. And I had again checked out 3 books from the library. And of those, I managed to finish 2 in the month of June. And I had actually started 3. So yeah, you can see that whenever I try to read the library books, I don't hit my TBR goals. When I read the TBR books, I don't usually read a lot of library books. So I can't really seem to find the balance there, but I hope that with time this might get better. Overall, I think that the second quarter was very successful. I will go through the books in a second, but I think that I did quite a good job of reading those books. I also did read 2 books that were from my winter TBR that I hadn't gotten to, and I managed to read 1 book that was already from my summer TBR, kind of. So I had needed that for a readathon, so I read it earlier than I had planned. So yeah, that's the stats. So now let's look into the books. So let's start out with the books that I've read and I will unhaul. The first one is The Philosophy in the Bedroom by Marquis de Sade, which I was very proud I finally read. Then we have Wild Woman and the Blues by Denny S. Price, which was unfortunately a disappointment. Then we have Normal People by Sally Rooney, which was fine, but I will never reread this book. And lastly, we have Mathilde by Leonard Frank, another book where I'm just so proud I finally read it. And again, it was fine, but I will never reread it. Then let's get to the books that I've read and enjoyed. We have The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett, which I loved. Then we have Octavia E. Butler's Kindred, which I loved. We have Empire of Sand by Tasha Suri. This was the summer book that I actually pulled into spring and I really enjoyed. Then we have The Book of Tea by Kakuzo Okakura, which was lovely and it's just such a beautiful book. Then we have Listening to the Orchestra by Susan Hill. This was short stories that I really enjoyed. And we have Ace by Angela Chen, which again I really loved. And then I managed to read the whole Greenbone saga, Jade City, Jade War and Jade Legacy. I really enjoyed the series. I think it was fantastic and I'm glad that I have finally read this series. So that was a success. So now let's get into the books that I didn't get around to. The first one is Love Saves the Day by Gwen Cooper, and this I will actually put on my summer TBR because I will exchange it with Empire of Sand. Then we have this biography of Lou Andreas Salome by Kerstin Decker. Unfortunately couldn't fit that in. We have The Handworth Times by Sharon Dougal. Radikale Zärtlichkeit, a non-fiction book about love by Shada Kurt. We have the complete fairy tales and stories by Oscar Wilde. And The Children of Húrin by Tolkien. Which, yeah, kind of didn't get to that. So in total, I only have 5 books I didn't get to in this second quarter, so I think that's quite good. They will stay on my TBR for later sometime, but yeah, I'm actually really proud. So the second quarter went much better than the first one, to be honest, and I managed to reduce my TBR a lot. I also had some books that I will be getting rid of now, and so that was very successful. I'm not very positive that the third quarter will work that well because this will be my busiest time. Maybe not my busiest time, but yeah, I was super busy in the beginning of the year and I will be super busy this summer. So I'm not making any promises that I will actually reduce my summer TBR that much. But we'll see. I will keep you updated. And yeah, leave a like or nice comment. Let me know how your second quarter of reading went. And I will talk to you soon. Bye!